Welcome back, Mr. Varma.
Thank you.
Mr. Varma, we all know that many water bodies have disappeared from Bangalore. For the record, can you tell our listeners how many lakes existed in Bangalore once upon a time and how many remain now? Any case studies?
Once upon a time, if we take 1960 as the base year, there were almost 292 to 400 live clean lakes, water bodies, tanks, whatever name you give, varying from about 10 hectare to almost Bellandur like 400 hectare. Today, there are not even 40 live lakes existing in Bangalore. So, we have lost almost 90% lakes.
Very alarming again. Forests are disappearing, green cover is disappearing, and lakes also disappearing, and you have handled both.
I have yes, I was lucky to handle lake development also. I was founder, CEO, and I really came to know a lot about, because earlier even I was not knowing. I was more concerned with forested trees. But when I went to LDA, I found the situation is really so bad that Bangalore's growth might be restricted due to lack of availability of potable water.
Oh, that's strange.
Because of disappearance of these water bodies.
Uh, Mr. Verma, who is to blame?
Again, all of us, the urbanization, the developmental works, no concern. I mean, people, none of us, probably those who matter, they knew the importance as to why these water bodies were created in the first place. Bangalore's water, which is rainwater, almost 900 millimeter, which is quite good, was getting collected into these cascading water bodies through 3 valleys, as you know, and the needs were being fulfilled. But when urbanization started taking place, development taking place, stadiums getting constructed, bus stations getting constructed, the first thing was to fill the lake, and then developers. Earlier government developed, but later on private developers have taken over. So now we find the situation in such a mess.
Mr. Verma, you were the CEO of Lake Development Authority before this job. What measures did you take at that time to restore the lakes?
Very quickly, first thing, we set the shop in order, because it was the first time this office was created. Immediately we prepared an atlas of lakes in Bangalore. Complete atlas was brought out, and that is how we found the figures and compared situation. Then we took up the study of the lake conditions, water bodies condition of selected lakes with the help of Pollution Control Board. And after making this database, we went to government. He gave us budget to start cleaning some of these lakes. So Government of India had meanwhile started a program called National Lake Conservation Program. Luckily, looking into our initiative, that is state government's initiative, they sanctioned funds for 6 lakes. That was Nagwara, and this side Vengayan Kere Lake, and Putenhalli, JP Nagar, and 3 more lakes of, and I am forgetting the names, Bellandur Lake. So the restoration program was put into these 5-6 lakes, and then preparation of plan for remaining lakes was taken. Then strengthening of the LDA itself was taken up with the government, and I would say the lot of public awareness was created. At that time, I remember we were working with Suresh Abdikar and other people to create. In fact, Times was really carrying these write-ups on all these things. So a very good momentum was built up. Luckily, it is continuing now, but it could be much better, because
Mr. Verma, your successor, Mr. Sai Baba, was in the studio the other day. So I was interviewing him. Then he said there are 2 problems. One, again, multiplicity of agencies dealing with lakes. BDA also has some lakes, and BBMP also has some lakes. And he was saying Lake Development Authority doesn't have any powers, absolutely no powers, and it has no teeth to take on the civic bodies, and there you are waiting for a legislation to be passed by the government, and government is still sitting on the legislation. What do you have to say about it?
Well, this same problem we faced, because after all he has become my successful worthy successor. But instead of waiting for the powers to come, we took the recourse to the situation that Lake Development Authority consists of almost all these agencies as a member. BDA Commissioner is member, BBMP Commissioner is member, Chief Secretary is the chairman, BWSSB is a member. So, when every civic agency is represented by its highest authority in that body, maybe the regulatory powers are not there, but developmental powers can definitely be channelized through all these people. Sai Baba definitely has a point, because sometimes he feels frustrated, because if something goes wrong, LDA is blamed. In that context, he might have said it, but I do not think it should come as it should be an impediment to achieve the limited purpose of LDA, which has been defined by government as of now. My aim at that time, was confessed, was to make LDA counterpart of BDA, as if such a big organization, not so much, not as an expansion bureaucratic body, but have engineers, have planners, have surveyors, and have some power which Sai Baba is talking about, so that whenever any lake issue comes, just like BDA comes for land, LDA should come for. But maybe government vision was different. So, we said fine, we will work.
So, the legislation is waiting to be passed.
Of course, they have moved legislation, because probably they found it is difficult to be only blamed without any power. So, it is good that government is thinking this.
Mr. Verma, can you say something about Raja Kolve? What is the situation now?
Raja Kalve situation is one of the pathetic stage of affairs in wherein almost all the Raj Kalves have been covered by various building activities. People did not realize its importance. Only recently government has made certain acts which makes it totally illegal to do anything on Raj Kalves. So, I am glad now that the issue has been flagged, government is active to tackle this thing.
Oh, great. Some good news at least. Mr. Verma, I believe catchment areas also have been encroached. Isn't it a big threat?
Absolutely right, because when the water was flowing through its natural course, now you find buildings, you find roads, you find everything. So, naturally the water does not percolate into these lakes. So, unfortunately again here we cannot, I do not know to blame whom to be blamed, whom to be blamed for all these things, but frankly speaking, to be very ideal, one has to keep the catchment area at least not only pristine, but also to afforest it, so that it conserves more and more water and sends only filtered water to these lake bodies. One wishes that further catchment areas are not destroyed, because whatever has gone, it cannot be retrieved, but at least future lakes, whatever remains, those catchments should be declared as under some act not to be disturbed. Some kind of regulation must be brought in.